Hello and welcome to this conference on the future of food, brought to you by EIT Food. My name is Natasha Foote. I am an agri-food journalist based here in Brussels. I have the pleasure of moderating this conference today. And it's wonderful to see such an appetite for this conference. There's so many of you in the room, and also a very warm welcome to all of you joining online. Now, this event lands at a pretty crucial moment, as I'm sure you're aware, as it comes just before the institutional change at the European level in 2024. We have next year's elections and the end of the current Commission's mandate. And so, as we speak, European lawmakers are putting the finishing touches on the last pieces of legislation that are crawling over the finish line in the next few months, and will provide the framework for future work. And it comes just as the Commission is about to launch its strategic dialogue on the future of the sector, expected in the first half of November. And so it makes the perfect opportunity for you, the EU food community, to come together to inspire and connect with lawmakers, share evidence-based insights, best practices, business cases, and concrete recommendations for how, together, we can make this transformational change happen in our food systems. And that's exactly what we're aiming to do today in a constructive and collaborative spirit. Now, from the discussions we have today, EIT Food will be drawing out the key themes and building a manifesto to future lawmakers and decision makers. So this is really the moment to have your voice heard. Now, just a few housekeeping points before we get stuck in. Let me just remind you that there is, if you'd like to comment, get involved on social media, there is a an X hashtag. That's a very hard habit to break. There's an X hashtag to use throughout the day, and that is hashtag FutureFood23. So you'll see that on the screen, FutureFood23. It's the same hashtag that you can ask questions via Slido. So this is going to be dynamic. There's plenty of opportunities to ask your questions to our panelists. So you can do that via Slido, and so you can do that using the hashtag FutureFood23 for the event code, and then select the room we're in, as will the different breakout sessions in different rooms throughout the day. There's also an app that you can access via the QR code, which is on the back of your badges. Now, through that app, there's the agenda, and also there's Slido that's integrated in that, so you can check that out. And of course, I also invite everyone joining us online to also put your questions through the Slido chat if you have questions there. Now, before we get stuck into today's conference, I would like to hand you over to the chair of EIT Food's board, Michael de Ruiter, for some opening remarks. So the floor is yours.
So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the future of food. Again, my name is Michiel de Ruiter. You did a wonderful job pronouncing my name. It's not an easy name. And I'm actually the chairman, and I heard 24 hours ago that I was supposed to give this speech because Andy Zinga, our CEO, couldn't make it. Now, of course, for those of you who are aware of the role of a supervisory board, it's really not that operational normally. Next to the employer role and the compliance, we're also in the support. So you can call this a support action. More than happy to do that. Anyway, so it's great to see so many of you physically here, and indeed, as you mentioned, we already have an online audience. So welcome to those of you who are here in person, and welcome to those of you who are joining us online. This is the place to be, as you mentioned already. The future of food is our EIT Food policy-focused conference. And it has actually never been more important to put a policy lens on our food system. We can read the news every day. We see what's going on. We have our challenges, to put it softly and mildly. We know that our food system is both the cause, but also the casualty of many global challenges that we face as a society. We have the task or the obligation, whatever you want to call it, to ensure that our food system will become resilient, healthy, and sustainable, which, not by coincidence, are the three missions of EIT Food. On the other hand, our food system can also be complex. and cannot be looked at in isolation. We also need to look at the relationship the food systems have with other factors. I just name a few. You have land use, water, biodiversity, health, socio-economic factors, other non-food commodities, energy, climate, just to name a few, are interrelated. Our food system may have an impact on these, but that also means it can have a positive impact on all of these things. It can be regenerative in nature, and I think that's a very important buzzword that we hear more and more, luckily. It can help in regenerating nature, providing sustenance, of course, for both people and planet in the end. It can provide solutions to some of the major challenges we are facing. Today, we only have one day. It's very little. So I want us to use the opportunity to advance our dialogues. We are in constant dialogue, but today will be a day where we can intensify that and to stimulate the debate around some of the key levers for change, for transforming our food system in Europe and beyond. Today we have a packed program. We have brought together stakeholders from across the entire value chain system to collect data, discuss the evidence, the lessons learned, and map realistic scenarios to make change happen faster, because we need to move faster. There are also going to be some launches, some new items today that we are launching. Actually, our consumer observatory will be launched today. I think the speaker will be talking about that later. We'll be sharing our insights to accelerate the protein diversification. The big news is that we will be handing in a second white paper. More about that later today. And also we will be presenting new research on financing gaps and also on novel food perception of the industry. And if this weren't enough, we're launching 2 new focus groups, one for startups and one for large corporates. And these initiatives have been developed together with our communities. I think that's the most important. And I believe this is really EIT Food at its best, that we have so many stakeholders around the table. We have our boots on the ground, and it is not easy to have this multi-stakeholder partnership, but I think it's the only way to go. Collective intelligence is feeding into recommendations to deliver on our food system transformation. And we are extremely proud today that the decision makers, renowned experts, and politicians have agreed to join us here today and debate our propositions of our community. And this is really hot off the press. It's not even in your program, I presume. Next to the many EU national and regional teams here today to engage with our EIT Food community, we shall have the honor of having our new Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, Madame Ivanova, to address us here live in this conference, and we expect her to be here at 12:30. Until then, my friends, we shall talk soils, data, research, innovative practices, markets, business models, new forms of cooperation, farmers, industry, retail, consumers, trust, finance, talents, and investment gaps, just to name a few of the topics that keeps us occupied. Because to make our food system fit for the future of food, we need the whole ecosystem with the entire value chain mobilized. So let's not shy away from looking into difficult spaces, because it's not easy. But I think we can provide the solution together. Let's debate and co-create for impact. Let's create the future of food together. Thank you so much.
Many thanks, Michael, for that excellent overview. And obviously, as we can see, we've got a very packed agenda with lots going on, so lots to look forward to. So I would now like to open today's introductory session on future-proofing the European food ecosystems, the costs and opportunities that come with transformational change. So to do so, I would like to welcome Peter Kearns, who is Director for Sustainable Food Systems and Innovation at Reimagine Europa, to the stage, and also Nina Granucci, who is CEO of Green Spot Technologies, one of EIT Food's rising food stars. So welcome to the stage.
That was your fault.
Can you try? Yes.
Hello?
Can we hear Peter? Yes? Oh, we can. Oh, we can.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you.
No, I thought so.
No.
Okay. Just a slight technical problem here.
I think I have Peter's mic.
I'm on too.
That's what's happening. We've maybe mixed up a microphone.
You have the mic. I do. I could say a few words, but I don't think it would be appropriate.
Would you like to swap?
We could.
Okay. Yeah, were you able to try and say something now?
Hello?
No. What's an event without a technical hiccup? I think it's obligatory. Okay. All right, maybe we're just going to have a quick microphone swap, or perhaps we'll grab the roaming microphone. Perhaps someone could pass that to Peter. Yes, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Okay. Let me try with this.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, but technical stuff is not one of my expertise, if I could say that. Listen, it's very good to see you all. Thank you for coming. And thanks very much to the organizers for inviting me. I hope that I can say a few words that might be interesting for you, I hope, and could help set the scene for the rest of the work here today. So, thank you, sir. So, maybe just a couple of words about me. You'll never guess this from my accent, I'm British. Okay? And I'm a kind of Brexit refugee. I've been living in France for more than 30 years. So it's an interesting perspective, this post-Brexit stuff. Despite that, I'm a very big fan of the European Union. And I think that's why that's one of the reasons why I'm working for the organization I work for, which is Reimagine Europa. So we're based in Brussels, although I do a lot of backwards and forwards between here and Paris. So Reimagine Europa, and I think it's good for you to know this, was established by the former French president Giscard d'Estaing. It's not that long ago when he did that, but Giscard was, and unfortunately passed away at the end of 2020, from COVID, in fact. But he was not a young man anymore, so he was at the end of his life. But he was a very firm believer, of course, in the European Union, and he would often remark that He had set up Reimagine Europa also to celebrate his friendship with Helmut Schmidt, who was the Chancellor in Germany. And the idea that he had, and which we continue with today, is to think about policies for the European Union, not across the board, some certain select policies that are particularly for the future, forward-looking, as it were. And so that's what we do. And in particular, I will talk to you about some of the things we are doing on sustainable food systems and innovation. And I hope I can make this relevant to what you were saying earlier, sir, about coming to the end of this cycle of the European Parliament and the Commission, and tidying up pieces of work and then looking forward to the next steps. I'm going to try and do that. I've been asked by the organisers to talk about many things in 10 minutes. So I will keep it short. I can't talk about everything. So just some of those things I think are relevant, but also that we have been working on and I know a little bit about. By the way, I'm a geneticist, so I'm going to focus a little bit on the new genomic techniques and the draft regulation which is now before Parliament. I'm a geneticist and I firmly believe in innovation in agri-food systems, of course. Plant breeding has been one of the most impressive achievements of our species over many years. Probably you can go back 10,000 years. And so plant breeding is absolutely fundamental. New crop varieties are absolutely fundamental to our civilization. People don't always notice that. I have interesting discussions around the dinner table with family and friends who seem to think that somehow milk magically appears in the supermarket, or apples, or whatever it is. Many people have no concept at all of what agriculture is about and the food chains and all of the things that you are interested in here. I'm afraid to say people don't know very much about it. But there you go. We can't do very much about that except for do things like we're doing today. So besides being a geneticist and having a great respect for innovations of every kind, I'm also, one of my passions is biodiversity, nature. I love birds, I love insects. And one of the things, so I am, okay, on the one hand, I'm a little bit disappointed that some of the policies related to, for example, the Green Deal and some of the proposals are not moving forward in this parliamentary commission cycle. I think that's a big disappointment. I think the nature restoration thing is to be welcomed, but there are other things that have fallen by the wayside. I believe that we are in, I'm sure you all believe this, I'm sure you all know it, it's not just me. We are in a biodiversity crisis of very difficult to imagine nature. It's very difficult to get, at least for me, to get my head around the fact that the trouble that we are in relation to biodiversity. Because since I was a very young child, I've been watching birds, insects, butterflies, for example, it's absolutely visible on a day-to-day basis, the kind of trouble that we are in Europe, let alone anywhere else, in terms of biodiversity. And so I do not see, from my perspective, I do not feel there's any discrepancy between agri-food systems, agriculture, and the need to protect biodiversity. I think, of course, biodiversity is very tied up, and the loss of biodiversity is very tied up with climate change. I think these two things go hand in hand together. And I can't remember when it was in the climate change discussions when people started talking about costs of inaction. Okay? That must have been 2000 something. But this was the concept, to put it very simply, that if you put off doing something about a problem like climate change, then you pay more later. And the same, to my mind, applies for biodiversity. Unless we do something much more than is being done at the moment in Europe, we're thinking about Europe here, but of course we live in a global world, which I would like to go into, but I don't have time. I think there's a session that will pick up on those issues. But unless we do something, we will pay greater costs later on. I think that's one of my main messages. Just a final word, because I know the organisers would like me to say something about it. I still think I have a minute or two. One of the problems that we face is we can end up in on these issues, sustainable food systems, innovation, we can end up in very polarized discussions. Now, one of the features of our work at Reimagine Europa is to look at depolarization, how we can stop or reduce polarized discussions where people tend to shout at one another, how to depolarize the discussions. We have a couple of experts. We call them narratives experts, but what they do is they examine social media to try and understand what people are saying about any particular topic. They have done a lot of work on this topic of new genomic techniques. I spoke about the regulation, which is now before the Parliament. And they began with the baseline of GMOs. Okay? New genomic techniques, at least some of them, are a slightly different thing. But they examined what people were really talking about and trying to say between these harsh narratives that you often see. And one of my favorite things that they discovered a couple of years ago is they called it precaution-focused narratives as opposed to innovation-based narratives. These two kind of opposing camps. And what I was trying to say earlier about my love of innovation, but also my love of biodiversity, is that people do have and can have shared objectives. And so our depolarization work, we will publish a manual in a month or so, which provides guidance on how to depolarize conversations. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you can look out for that. Sorry if I went on a little bit.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and I definitely have a lot of empathy, sympathy with being what was the phrase, Brexit As you can tell, I'm also a fellow Brit, so a lot of solidarity there. Nina, now let me pass to you for your introductory remarks. If we can get the microphone working.
Not there.
Is it working? Perhaps we could pass the... Yeah, let's do it that way.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. The mic is good? Yes.
Yes, yes.
I'm very happy to be here today, especially to discuss a topic that touches every day, everyone, that's food. And that's actually the reason why I decided to work in food, working in a solution that would benefit a large number of people, and what is better than food. So, as a personal story, I'm from Brazil, so I'm also an outsider from the European Union. And in my master degree, I was studying third world disease, that's the Chagas disease. And I was very proud of the work that I was doing to advance a vaccine for this disease. But when I went in a conference, the largest parasitology conference in Brazil about this topic, and I was very proud. I was presenting my work, and then when I arrived there, the keynote speaker said something that really changed my view on the topic that I was working. He said that there was more people living from Chagas disease than dying from it. So living from the research and the scholarships than actually dying from the disease. And that actually changed my view of what we were doing. I questioned myself if I should continue in this path. That was the solution I should be working towards, or should I change? So today, I'm here working on food. So you know my decision. I think our relationship with food has evolved significantly through human history. The way we produce, distribute, and consume food has changed. And in the past, food was seen as a survival, primarily, but now we can, I think, and that's my opinion, we can be a source of joy, of health, of culture, and very importantly, of connection. Our food system is a complex web that's woven together by various players, from farmers to consumers to startups. Europe is a rich culinary heritage and diverse agriculture, and plays a vital role in this global ecosystem. Europe is also leading the innovation in food. However, our current food system is facing profound challenges, from resource depletion, wars, climate change, the food waste, that I'm passionate about it, this topic, and health concerns. Our system is strained. Innovation is and should be a prolific source of problem-solving solutions. It's exciting to see how many companies of all different sizes in different topics are working to innovate in food. However, we must remember that innovation, while exciting, must be rooted in responsible practices. We should be cautious to technological advances that may harm our environment or exploit vulnerable populations. Responsible innovation should always be guided by ethicals and committed to justice. And I do believe our food system can be a catalyst for positive change in the world, improving health, promoting sustainability, empowering women and other minorities, and, why not, bringing understanding to different countries, cultures, and beliefs. It is because of this belief I'm proud of being a co-founder of GreenSpot Technologies. That's a startup that is optimizing the use of resources and helping to reduce CO2 footprint in the food value chain, by producing fermented and upcycled ingredients to create more delicious, nutritious, and sustainable food. And I'm very proud to be working in food. I'm proud to be part of this system. And it's a system that has such a powerful influence to do good. And I will finish here, so I'll be very short. If we believe that we are what we eat, we should eat delicious, nutritious, and sustainable food. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much to both of you, both of our speakers. Yes, another round of applause, and please feel free to take a seat back in the audience. Thank you.